Everybody, I took a short break to enjoy my family for the holidays, but I am back and I wanted to talk about this awesome children's book that I read. It is a chapter book. I would say it's good for any level reader that might be second, third grade on up. It reminded me a lot of the Nancy Drew books, which is great because when I was in that elementary school age, I could not get enough of Nancy Drew. So this book right here, it is Bernice Takes a Plunge, according to Bernice, book one, which means there are either a planned series or there's already multiple books. I haven't got a chance to look into it, so I'm going to have to do it. You're going to, of course, get a sample of it. I went ahead and did half of the first chapter. It's such a cute little book. She's kind of rough around the edges, really curious, really into solving mysteries, and it's adventurous, it's quirky, it's funny. I really think that Harth has kind of She's nailed what little girls and little boys want to read about. Even though the main character is a little girl, I think little boys would enjoy it just as much. Sorry about the dark room. Kids are asleep because it's 5:16 a.m. and I couldn't sleep and I don't want to wake them up, so the lights have to stay out. So you get this creepy vibe. So go ahead and check it out. It is on Kindle. It wasn't on Unlimited. I did purchase the book. It's not very long. It's a typical book. So there are 19 chapters, but the chapters aren't too long. So the ending of the book is a really cute ending. And I love how the author builds up on the siblings' relationship. She's got a younger brother, and it is a focal point of the story, which is great because a lot of kids this age can relate to that because their siblings are the ones that they spend the most time with when they're in this age bracket. Because the main character is also really young. She's about elementary school age. So this will give like that sense of adventure, oh my gosh, like she's doing these things, I can do these things, and it'll take them off to different places, help with their imagination, help them with the desire for exploration. So it's just all around a really good book for any of your elementary kids to check it out. I'm not really sure what it takes to get on an AR list. I've got to look into that. I don't typically write young books myself. Like I have young adult, but they're more like high school to in their 20s, so I don't have to worry about AR. But I feel like if this author works towards getting acknowledged by AR, that it'd be really beneficial because I think this is one that students would enjoy and the test would be pretty easy because she's very, very descriptive. She builds up the characters extremely well and the scenes are vivid. So I think this would be a really good one to test children's comprehension skills with the AR, because I think they would absorb it, because it is very interesting and enticing. Now let's talk a little bit about the author. So Anne Harth writes fiction and nonfiction for children and adults. So she is versed in a lot of things, which I love, because I do the same thing under different pen names. It just it shows that she's got a lot of depth and a lot of knowledge and a lot of creativity. So those are my favorite kind of authors that don't stick to one genre. I like to go out and look at everything that they're capable of. I know not everybody agrees with that. It's not a popular opinion. Some people like their comfort zones. But then on the other hand, I know a lot of writers with pen names, and they do different type of stories, and people are aware that that's who the writer is, even though they have the pen name, and they still love their other books. So I think there definitely is an audience for people who are able to write multiple genres. So it says she writes strong, interesting female characters. They creep in the most to her books, and many arrive with a sense of humor. Like I said, it was really witty. I enjoyed the banter. I enjoy the little girl's spunk, and she's very kind of full of herself. Really believes in her abilities, and she lives in her own reality world. It's cute. Like, definitely give this a shot for one of your kids, and I think parents would enjoy sitting down and reading this one with their kids too. I enjoyed it. Now, I haven't given it to my 8-year-old yet to read, but I know she's going to want to read this. Oh God, she's not 8 anymore. She turned 9 in December. Shh, don't tell her I'm still calling her 8 years old. It's a mom mistake. So, before becoming a writer, mentor, and developmental editor in far north Queensland, Anne studied psychology. That makes sense, because you'll hear the character is mum instead of mom, so I kind of figured United States, wasn't it? So she waited tables, bartended, picked strawberries, worked as a clown, explains the sense of humor, and punched keys on various tills. She also spent 10 years working with children with special needs. Okay, I officially love this woman. I need to meet her, I think. I work with special needs children. It's actually part of why I write certain children's books, is for my special needs children and to help with autism and stuff. So her and I seem to have a lot in common. Like, I think I just found my new best friend. Okay, so Anne taught writing for the Australian College of Journalism for 8 years before taking the leap into freelance work. Anne is the Far North Queensland representative for the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. She's had a number of fiction and nonfiction children's books published in Australia and the UK, and over 120 short stories sold internationally. So when not tapping the keys, Anne stuffs a notebook into her pack and searches for remote places to camp. Yeah, her and I are best friends. She doesn't know it yet. She's going to figure it out. So, and I'm just letting you know now. We have a lot in common. Special needs children. And we both like to camp. We both did that waitress thing at some point. I didn't pick strawberries because strawberries are nasty, but telling you, we could be good friends. Plus, that means a trip to Australia. I want to see some kangaroos. Bernice Takes a Plunge by Anne Harth. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Stop, Jake. Bernice rested her head on the kitchen table, and red curls spilled across her face. She'd hardly slept with the sound of the fierce winds all night. Bernice Peppercorn was not a morning person. Jake, on the other hand, was. Breakfast was often bickering on toast. Jake grinned. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Make him stop. Jake looked wide-eyed at his sister. What am I doing? Hey, listen. Mom tapped her newspaper. Someone broke into Crystal Bell's mansion last night. Crystal Bell? Bernice glanced at her Crystal Bell secret spy watch. She tapped the tiny record button and stretched her arm across the table. Local celebrity Crystal Bell was robbed last night, Mom read. Bernice stretched further. Her hand dangled over Mom's lap and her elbow knocked Jake's cereal. Hey! Jake grabbed his bowl of breakfast berries. Milk sloshed over the rim. Bernie! Shh! Bernice glared at him. Go on, Mom. Mom's eyes scanned the article. Thieves got away with thousands of dollars worth of jewelry and gemstones. She sipped her coffee. It looks like family members will be dealing with the authorities because Miss Bella is shooting a film in India. Bernice nodded. She is. It's called Murder in Mumbai. It's taking so long, she even sent for her dog Dipsy and her canine carer. She thrust her recorder, watch under her mother's nose. Anything else? Mom shook her head. Not really. I hope they catch them, though. This is such a small town for something like this to happen. Bernice clicked off her recorder and went to the sink. She looked out the kitchen window, starting down the street. Maybe the robbers had crept past their house in the middle of the night. Criminy, she said. If the batteries hadn't died on my motion-sensitive camera yesterday, I would have photos of them. Bernice's Crystal Bell security camera worked pretty well considering it had only cost $12.95, without postage and handling. She usually set it up in the front yard, facing the street, so she would know what went on out there while she was asleep. So far, she'd taken photos of 3 cats. Freddie Patterson from next door holding hands with Sandra Baker, a bush turkey, 6 possums, or maybe just 1 possum, 6 times, and Mr. Danson smoking a cigarette in the road after Miss Danson had gone to bed. Yeah, Jake said, except that camera stinks. All you'd see would be gray smudges on a black background. Bernice turned her back on her little brother. She pictured Crystal Bell's mansion. It was only 3 blocks away. Bernice had followed the long driveway to the tall golden gates hundreds of times. She'd also checked out the fence around the entire property, but could never get inside because of the thick bars and clanging alarms. Gary, Miss Bell's guard and driver, had escorted her from the property more than once. Why didn't the alarms go off? She mumbled. I'm going to have a shower, kids. Clean the kitchen when you're finished. Mom folded the paper. She stared at Bernice for a minute. Do you still have your hat? Bernice nodded. It was her last. It was faded to pale blue, but she no longer had a choice. She had lost 3 in the past 2 weeks. She couldn't help it. Things just seemed to disappear, and Mom was getting sick of it. Don't lose it, Mom said. She put her cup in the sink. Jake's milk was creeping slowly toward the edge of the table. Clean it up, Bernie, he said. You spilled it. Bernice squeezed a cold sponge into the sink. Here, I'll help. She tossed it at her brother. It smacked him on the left cheek. Hey! I wonder what they took. Bernice turned back to the window. Maybe one of those diamond tiaras she wore in the party apparel. She wiped her breath from the glass. Or maybe that dress with the sapphires and Bad, Bad Beauty. Bernice had seen all Crystal Bell's movies. Crystal was calm, cool, and smart. She knew karate and could outwit any bad guy who tried to mess with her. Crystal Bell could get out of any situation and solve any mystery. She'll find the robbers, Bernice said. Jake sopped up the milk and threw the sponge back at Bernice. She ducked. The sponge hit the window and slid down the glass, leaving a milky trail. Crystal Bell couldn't find a cow in a barn. Jake crammed breakfast berries into his mouth. She lost her marbles years ago. Bernice scowled at her brother. She will solve this when she gets home. I'll see if she wants me to help her. Maybe I can write a letter introducing myself so they know I'm not just a crazed fan. I have a lot of experience with mysteries, you know? Jake laughed. Cereal sprayed from his mouth. Only the ones in your head, he said. I hope you enjoyed the little snippet of the story. Make sure to check her out. Just like always, I will leave an Amazon link down there. Read it. leave a review. I know, I am like a broken record when it comes to that, but it really is important. So make sure you leave a review. Let the author know how much you enjoyed her book, or don't leave a nasty review. Those are just not nice. Nobody likes a troll. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Happy New Year, since I did completely go on a hiatus during the holidays to spend time with my family. So, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and hopefully 2021 brings us less disease, less murderous bugs, less of our atmosphere collapsing on us, less political scams. Like, let's just not have a 2020 again. That sounds good. So, let's aim for a really good 2021. Read some books. Lots of books. Focus on some books. Maybe become a writer. Huh? Sounds good? Yeah? Okay. Well, you all have a great night, and I will be checking back with you next week for a more of an adult book, you know what I mean? So my next review is going to be 18 plus. So if you don't see it on here, it's because you're restricted. So sorry about that. But adult books sometimes require adult language and adult conversations. So this one's for you if you're young. The next one, not for you. So you'll see me then. Good night. Morning. Whatever time.